Hello once again, audience. When we left off, we were in Repcon facilities, initially on a mission for Manny Fargus to get rid of ghouls. Ghouls, what are ghouls? Ghouls are, I guess, mutated people because of the fallout affected by it, and they're actually, they were feral ones, but they're actually sane ones as well. And those sane ones are actually a little bit insane and kooky, and a little bit religious, which is a fun twist to it all. And we happen to come across those. Sorry, Boone. And oh, Boone, fine. And as we were going, as we were going through this facility, we kind of stumbled on them, I guess. And they gave us a mission. They asked us if we wanted to help them get to the far beyond. And I thought, well, I'll play this game along because there were a lot of them, and they were all packing laser rifles because of, I found all those on the dead corpses. So I have no idea what I was gonna do, and apparently these dudes, the basically mutants, with stealth boys.
Did you find my friend? Alright.
Alright, bye. But basically these guys with stealth boys, mutants, were in the basement, trapping them in, and they weren't able to perform do what they wanted to do. And I actually went all the way down, and there was like a couple of rockets and stuff. So I'm guessing that the far beyond is really, really far beyond, and that they're gonna use those rockets to maybe, fly somewhere or go somewhere. So yeah, and as I went on, I came past this area as well. Let me just save it here real quick because I see all kinds of nasty stuff here. Oh my god, look at that. Figured out that you need to make your own Stimpak, Sanderroot and Brock flowers, and I might want to be going slower here. What is that now? Alright, fuck this. This place. You see they use stealth boys, which is good. I mean, it's good value for me. Also ran out of bullets, pretty much, for my gun. For my awesome rat slayer. And now you'll see that I'll never find a Foreman rifle again. Like, never, ever. Which will not be cool. But where do I go? This is... So yeah, we found this dude in the... kind of like... He was trapped there, and he was looking for his lady friend, so we also did that. She was dead in the prison, and we all cried a little bit, not really. So now it is time to go back up and see what else we have to do or not to do. So this is basically the spot where they all hung out. But yeah, I mean, playing Fallout and actually... Holy shit, who's talking? Oh, that guy. And actually, also being kind of... just the whole idea of Fallout. I think, you know, I was watching something on TV on... Oh, really? So watching something on National Geographic, actually, a show called Doomsday Preppers. And that show was all about, oh, there he is.
Is the way clear? Praise the Creator, and bless you, Wanderer. The way is clear. I will lead my flock through the basement to the sacred... I hope you will come find us there, Wanderer.
Evening.
Let's do the... about what's to come next. Alright, we're all going down there. That's cool, we're all running. That's crazy. So we're gonna run with them. Run! But yeah, the show was called Doomsday Preppers, and these are basically... I think borderline crazy people, but people that are actually concerned about a nuclear bomb going off or a solar flare, you know, hitting us and rendering our you know, electronical systems and whatnot pretty much useless. And they're actually actively, you know, preparing for that kind of stuff. For the eventuality that, you know, something like that might happen. And while playing this game, I really feel that Fallout reflects a really good scenario of how our society might end up, you know, looking like when a nuke hits or something. I mean, this...
I waited to speak with you one last time before I descended to the launch pad, Wanderer.
Alright.
I want you to know that we will remember for all eternity how you delivered us to the threshold of the great journey. Our preparations are nearly complete, but the rockets that will carry us to salvation are yet missing vital components.
Oh, man.
If you would still help us, Wanderer, speak to Chris. He can tell you what is missing. There is no way that we can thank you enough, Wanderer. Your arrival here was a blessing. We will remember you always. After all that you have done for us, I suppose you deserve to know everything. When Chris came to us, we tried to convince him that he was human. But this only angered him. He seemed lost. We decided to let him stay with us for a few days, over the course of which we learned that his technical skills far surpassed our own. It became clear that the Creator had sent him to us, to ensure the success of the great journey. Equally clear was that Chris should labor in blessed ignorance of his humanity, and his inability to make the journey himself. It is no coincidence that two humans have been vital to the success of the great journey. It is my belief that the Creator sent you and Chris to expiate the sins of your kind against mine. You are redeemers both. There is no way that we can thank you.
Cool.
Jason says that I am to cooperate with you on the final tasks necessary to launch the Great Journey. I was close to completing work on the rockets before we were driven into hiding on the top floor. 2 components were missing. A quantity of isotope 239 igniting agent, and a set of thrust control modules.
Alright.
The igniting agent is highly radioactive and decays quickly. That's why we can't use the drums that leak down on the launch pad. It's no longer potent enough. I need you to find an intact, shielded container of the igniting agent. As for the thrust control modules, they were custom built for these rockets. They won't even launch without them. Very well, we don't need a huge amount. 2 to 3 liters should be enough. Later.
So now I have to find stuff? Is that the case? Find the atomic... But yeah, I mean, that show actually... I mean, the people on it are a bit cookie, but... I mean, what would you do in case of... In case of, you know, when something... Just something catastrophic would happen. You know, like... Any kind of disaster. I think any kind of disaster would actually, you know, suffice in that, because I mean when how do you say that in English? I don't know. When push comes to shove, you know, even when nature plays up, like with hurricanes or volcano eruptions or earthquakes, I mean, we are pretty defenseless then to all that violence. But you know, what happened if you know, a huge solar flare would just knock out all of the electronics and stuff? I think that I don't think that a nuclear threat like this, as it is in Fallout, I don't think it is true to one of the possibilities in our day and age. I mean, just wait, that's that way. I mean, just you know, Russia and the U.S. both hold the biggest quantity of nuclear weapons in the world. They're both actively, you know, downsizing on their stockpile of the things. So I mean, in that sense, I don't fear a nuclear war that much. I mean, a lot of things can change, don't get me wrong. I mean, you know, the only thing that keeps going is time itself. So a lot of things can happen. But I also feel that you gotta be realistic about the threats. I mean, there was this lady that had like literally months and months and months worth of stuff just stockpiled. Crazy amount of stuff just stockpiled, like hidden on the most craziest spots. And she was actually prepping for, like, you know, what would happen if a nuclear war would erupt, and you know, basically the world would look like Fallout in a way. Maybe not as cookie and as mutated and stuff, but that was her fear. She feared that there would be a nuclear war, and you know, what would you do then? So she started prepping for that, and that actually made me think, like, you know, we're playing this video game. We're just, you know, chilling with it in a way. But if you actually start thinking about it in maybe a somewhat more philosophical way, I think that Fallout really reflects well, in its own way, of course, in its own way of humor and
Welcome back to the program. This is Mr. New Vegas, and I hope I'm not coming on too strong. Here are our top stories. A package courier found shot in the head near Good Springs has reportedly regained consciousness and made a full recovery.
what
Now
was I
that's
doing
a
actually?
delivery service you can count on. Also in the headlines, the Black Mountain radio signal is back after a little.
But when you think about it philosophically, in a way, you know, even though it is with its, you know, made with its own sense of fiction and stuff, I mean, I think there are definitely truths about true things, you know, being depicted about how people would treat each other. I mean, there would definitely be, you know, marauding gangs of just evil people, I guess, that would stop at nothing to get what they want and survive. And it would be truly, you know, a place of survival. And you would also have, you know, places of some places where people would actually try. Oh shit.
You're mine.
Whoa, he blasted the head off. But there would, you know, also be like places and groups of people that would actually, you know, try and keep society going in a way. Or have some sense of community going. So a lot of the things that I, you know, when you're playing Fallout, and you actually start thinking about it, you know, how unprepared you as a person, you know, I wouldn't know what to do when, you know, any kind of catastrophe would hit. It doesn't matter. Like, if it was a flood, that would be like super bad, or an earthquake, or just, you know, anything at all. I would not know how to, you know, deal with that in a way. And that was actually quite an insightful feeling, that that even though, you know, we're basically playing a lot of these games, that people are actually making them with some kind of philosophy behind them as well. And I really think that that is what Bethesda does so good, and that's why I love them as a game studio. Is no matter what game world they set out to create. No matter what ranger stations are. But anyways, no matter what universe they're trying to create, they always look at how to make the people that inhabit that world, how to make them feel as close to our own society, our own realistic, natural world which we inhabit. That to make it feel like that. And I feel, with Skyrim, it is very medieval. It is also, with even all the fictional races and stuff, they just get that authenticity for the the people that inhabit the world always right. And I really feel that Fallout does a way better job at actually really making that society within the game world feel more realistic than anything else. I really do, because for one, this could actually happen, This could actually. I'm not saying with the creatures that inhabit it, but just the benchmarks they have set, on how the different groups inside the game interact with each other, all that stuff. That could actually happen. Even if the world would get nuked to hell, there would still be people surviving it. And what would those people do? What would you do? What would just in general, what would happen? And that's why I think that Fallout has such an incredible authenticity to it, and such an incredible good world where you just want to spend time in, and where you just want to keep on playing. I'm doing also a Let's Play on Skyrim and a Let's Play on BioShock, which are all very good games, but for some reason I feel just, where the hell do I need to go? Well, whatever. But for some reason, I just feel heavily more involved to getting things done in Fallout than in any of the earlier mentioned games. And I don't know why that is, but it's just, I guess it's the vibe. It's the world that has been set to play in, and I really love it. I really love this world. I really love, all the factions and how they interact, and the brutality of the game as well. If nukes start falling down, the world's not gonna be like a happy-go-lucky place. People will actually start pillaging and murdering and raping, and basically just horrible things would happen. And we would, inflict upon each other. And for what reason? Only for survival. People will do anything to survive. And that is... I keep walking the wrong way. That is what Fallout really, in my eyes, reflects so well. Is that... that's what I feel, Caesar's Legion is such a such a controversial faction in a way, but in the other way, I mean, it just depends on how you look at it, but there is some kind of truth to how they have their laws. There is some kind of truth in the fact that, you know, some kind of hardcore martial law that is like, you know, if you're not willing to defend, you know, yourself and the ones around you, then you know, you have no right to live. And that's of course a very very tough thing to say like that. But there is a certain truth to that. Like, I mean, the way to do it, the brutality, that's wrong. But there are morals behind it. I mean, that's the funny thing about it. You know, they put the sides that you can pick in the game. They really pay attention to just the moral.
Have you found the components we
discussed?
Now. Bye.
So the moral behind the factions is always right. Can't fast travel inside. There we go. Just fast travel already. But the moral behind the factions, the philosophical moral behind it, the ground moral of, you know, survival of the fittest, and I mean, that's just so funny about, you know, what they try to do with the NCR, and what they tried to do with Kaiser's Legion. It's basically, I think that there would be people that would you know, still live on, and that would be like, you know what, I think that we should actually, you know, continue on with the ways we know.
Hi there. You might have noticed. As it so happens, I do have some thrust mod.
What?
A pleasure.
What? 500 caps? That lady is crazy. I have no idea what actually, oh, ammo. She does have that. She's absolutely nothing.
Take it.
Alright. That's ridiculous. Where are those? Where are those modules? I will find them. feel like dogs all over the place. I don't think she will pose a big threat. Oh snap. That is well executed. That is well executed. Cost me nothing. Yeah, I mean, that was very interesting, for me, to me at least. That is what makes me always wanting to spend time in the worlds Bethesda creates, because there's always something. Yeah, you can think about things in the shallow way, but you can also definitely see what they wanted behind it, and that is also very true with BioShock. I mean, there's a lot you can say when it comes to the subject of, like, you know, what the deeper meaning behind BioShock is. I mean, there's basically the eternal war of capitalism and communism and power struggle, and all those, you know, hidden messages in a way are definitely also part of BioShock. But some games, some of them are sometimes not only purely for mere entertainment, like, you know, the likes of Call of Duty and the likes of just a plain old bland, in a way, shallow games. And that's what I love about games like these, that they're not shallow. There's actually so much more to it. I keep missing the door that I want to have. I don't know why I do that. It's here. There's so much more to it than sometimes in the games. I mean, definitely Mass Effect too. I mean, that universe is just also well constructed. It's more linear, but definitely well constructed as well. So yeah, I mean, I would love to hear your thoughts on all of this, and just leave that in the comment section. Looking at the time, I gotta pause it. Thank you all for watching, and see you all next episode.